Welcome to the Global WarWatch Network. Hello and welcome. We're here to look closely at the stories making headlines, unpack the real facts, maybe uncover some surprising details, and give you that all-important context you need to be, well, truly well-informed. Nothing quite says holiday in Japan, like a surprise visit from a British F-35 landing straight onto your airport runway. I guess even stealth jets need a coffee break sometimes. And that unusual sight, that unexpected landing of this really cutting-edge British fighter jet, that's our jumping off point today. It might seem like just, a small incident, a momentary snag.
Right.
But we're going to explore how it actually shines a light on much bigger things: geopolitical shifts, really ambitious foreign policies, and the incredible, sometimes frustrating complexities of modern military tech.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example.
It's a fascinating way in, really, to understanding the UK's whole global Britain idea, Japan's truly radical shift in its defense policy, and, of course, the ongoing saga of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program itself. Okay, so let's start with that most recent unscheduled detour. Picture this. You're at Kagoshima Airport in Japan, August 10th, 2025, probably waiting for a regular flight.
Yeah.
And suddenly, a British F-35B Lightning II deployed from the aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales makes an emergency landing.
Right there on the civilian runway.
Exactly.
Right.
The official word was a mechanical malfunction during a joint drill, with Japan, the US, and the UK involved.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the pilot was okay and the runway closure was only temporary, but it definitely turned some heads.
It absolutely did. And I think what's really crucial to understand here is what kind of plane the F-35B is. It's not just any old jet.
No.
It's the short takeoff and vertical landing variant, STOVL they call it. It's got this unique design, a swiveling engine nozzle, a big lift fan right in the middle.
Like something out of sci-fi almost.
It kind of is. It allows it to take off from really short runways or even vertically and land like a helicopter. It's the first plane to properly combine advanced stealth with that STOVL capability.
Okay.
But that means it's easily the most technically complex version of the F-35.
Mm-hmm.
And that complexity, well, that leads directly to potential operational headaches, unexpected landings, especially when you're operating thousands of miles from your home base.
And this Kagoshima landing, it wasn't even the first hiccup for jets from HMS Prince of Wales recently.
Yeah.
Just a couple of months before, June 14th, 2025.
Right, I remember this one.
Another F-35B from the same carrier had to make an emergency landing. This time it was down in Kerala, India, Thiruvananthapuram International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
That first landing was apparently due to fuel getting low and some bad weather, but then adding insult to injury, it developed a hydraulic problem.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, ended up stuck there, grounded for over 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Wow.
And here's where things got a bit weird and actually quite funny. Beyond the military headache, Kerala Tourism jumped right in.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah. They saw an opportunity and turned this whole military mishap into a viral marketing campaign. Get this, their tagline was, "Kerala is such an amazing place, even the F-35B doesn't want to leave."
No way.
Seriously. They even made an AI image of the jet relaxing under coconut palms. It was pretty amazing how this, serious technical issue for a major military asset became this lighthearted viral thing.
Yeah, it's incredible. But, that story, while funny, it really hits on a serious point. These incidents, Kagoshima and Kerala, they aren't just isolated glitches. They really highlight the huge logistical and maintenance challenges you face when operating these super high-tech platforms on long deployments way out in the ocean, far from your main support bases.
Right.
There was actually a comment from a Chinese aerospace analyst, Wang Yanan, who pointed this out. He suggested the UK military might be struggling to maintain the aircraft during far seas operations.
Because of the complexity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The F-35B's complexity, combined with the difficulty of supporting advanced U.S.-made systems without having a really robust, far-reaching logistical network in place. It's one thing to fly them there, quite another to keep them flying day in, day out.
That makes sense. So the logical question then is, why are these British F-35s and their massive carrier doing exercises in the Pacific anyway, dealing with these kinds of problems so far from the UK?
Good question.
Because these landings, while they grab headlines, they're really just symptoms, right? Symptoms of a much larger strategic shift happening in global alliances. Yeah, the presence of these British jets, the Prince of Wales carrier group, it's not just a random floatabout. It's a direct result of a major geopolitical realignment. And that was really cemented by something called the Reciprocal Access Agreement, the RAA.
The RAA.
Signed back on January 11th, 2023. Yeah, the British PM, Rishi Sunak, and the Japanese PM, Fumio Kishida, signing this deal. And people are calling it the most important defense agreement between the UK and Japan since, get this, the Anglo-Japanese Alliance of 1902.
Wow, 1902. That puts it in perspective.
It really does. That history alone tells you how significant this is meant to be.
And this RAA, it really serves two key strategic goals. For the UK, it's all about making that global Britain vision real, especially after Brexit.
Right, showing they still have global reach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a clear, tangible commitment to the Indo-Pacific region. The agreement potentially gives Britain access to military bases, Japanese ports for its navy, even its nuclear fleet potentially. It really strengthens its global posture.
And for Japan?
Well, for Japan, it's seen as a critical step. They feel they're facing, quote, unprecedented strategic challenges to their security.
Thinking mainly China, North Korea, Russia.
Primarily, yes. So strengthening alliances like this one with the UK is key. It also lets Japan, diversify its military technology development a bit, moving beyond almost total reliance on the US.
And this agreement isn't just symbolic handshakes, right? It has teeth.
Oh, absolutely.
It sets out rules allowing British and Japanese forces to plan and run joint exercises together, deploy troops onto each other's territory, and importantly, it creates a legal framework. What happens if a soldier commits a crime or causes an accident in the host country?
Which is always a tricky point in these deals.
Exactly. And it's worth noting, the UK is the first European country to get this kind of mutual access deal with Japan. That really underlines the unique nature of this new alignment.
And if you zoom out a bit, look at the wider geopolitical picture, this UK-Japan RAA fits neatly into a larger Western strategy.
You mean like a UKIS, the Quad?
Precisely. It's part of building this network of alliances. Many see it as specifically aimed at countering, or at least balancing, China's influence in the Asia-Pacific. And these agreements are definitely looking to leverage Japan's growing military budget and its pretty advanced technological base.
Yes, speaking of Japan's military, its recent policy shift is, well, it's nothing short of radical, historically speaking. For decades, its constitution was famously pacifist.
Article 9, yeah. Strictly limited military capabilities.
But that era seems to be fading fast. Japan's now aiming to boost military spending to 2% of its GDP by 2027. That's a massive figure. Something like $320 billion over 5 years.
Making it the world's third largest defense budget?
Third largest. And they're not just spending on salaries. They're looking at getting missiles capable of hitting targets in China, expanding ties with other Western nations, other Asian countries.
It's all framed as a direct response to their security concerns. China as an unprecedented strategic challenge, Russia a national security concern, and North Korea more serious than ever. It's a fundamental change for a country defined for so long by post-war pacifism.
A seismic shift, really.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And predictably, this whole pivot, the RAA, it gets very different reactions internationally. Japan and the UK, naturally, they call it a breakthrough, something that really elevates their security cooperation.
But others are less enthusiastic.
Well, China's foreign ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin basically said the Asia-Pacific should be about peace and development, not a wrestling ground for geopolitical games. A clear pushback.
And Russia.
Russia's foreign ministry spokeswoman, Maria Zakharova, was quite blunt. She warned about increased tensions, basically saying Japan's military buildup looks like a rejection of its whole peaceful post-World War II path. So you see really deeply divided views on what these new security arrangements mean.
Okay, so we have these incidents, this major new alliance. What does all this tell us about the F-35 program itself, the actual technology that's kind of at the center of these big strategies?
Right, the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program, it's huge. Easily the Department of Defense's single largest weapon procurement program ever.
By a long shot.
But it's also famous for having a, shall we say, troubled past. Big cost overruns, major schedule delays. I remember seeing a figure from way back in 2016 saying it was already, 6.5 years late and $13.5 billion over budget?
Something like that, yes. And that was years ago. Those numbers have only grown. That's not exactly a glowing report card for a program that's ultimately expected to cost trillions over its lifetime.
No, it isn't. And a really key factor behind many of these issues, something called concurrency, was built into the program from the start.
Concurrency? What's that exactly?
It basically means they started building production aircraft while the plane was still undergoing testing and design changes.
That sounds risky. Like building a house while the architect is still drawing the plans?
That's a pretty good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
The inevitable result was that early production jets needed really expensive, complex retrofits later on to incorporate all the fixes and improvements discovered during ongoing testing. It baked inefficiency and cost into the system.
And speaking of cost, the sustainment cost.
Yeah.
Keeping this fleet flying over its entire life, the projection is over $1 trillion.
Trillion with a T, yeah.
Even DoD officials themselves have basically said that's unaffordable. I mean, how do you even budget for that?
It's a monumental challenge.
Yeah.
And on top of the hardware costs, there have been ongoing struggles with the software, particularly the logistics system, ALS,
Yeah.
the Autonomic Logistics Information System.
That's the system that manages maintenance, spare parts, all that.
Exactly. It's supposed to be the brains behind keeping the planes flying. But it had so many problems, so many deficiencies, that they're now in the process of replacing it entirely with a new system called Odin. More delays, more cost.
Okay, so bringing it back to the UK specifically, there are carrier strike groups centered around carriers like HMS Prince of Wales. These cost and logistical issues must hit them hard too.
Oh, absolutely. These carrier strike groups are central to the UK's power projection goals, like CSG-25 on Operation HIMARS, the deployment we've been talking about.
Right.
But the Royal Navy often runs into challenges, like having enough of its own escort ships, destroyers, frigates to protect the carrier. They frequently rely on allies, like U.S. Navy destroyers, or even use U.S. Marine Corps F-35Bs alongside their own on the carrier deck.
So they need help to make the whole thing work fully.
Sometimes, yes. And there have also been significant delays with their specialized helicopters for airborne early warning, the crow's nest system. That definitely impacts the full operational capability of the carrier group. It all paints a picture of, well, immense logistical and maintenance hurdles when you're trying to operate these incredibly advanced, complex platforms on these long global deployments, like the ones that led to the landings in India and Japan.
Right. It all connects back.
It does.
So what does this all really mean for you listening in? Well, these F-35 incidents, from Kagoshima Airport to that humorous tourism ad in Kerala, they're not just isolated stories about a broken plane.
Far from it.
They really highlight this complex dance between ambitious foreign policy like the UK's global Britain aspirations, incredibly advanced but undeniably expensive and complex military technology, and the very real boots-on-the-ground challenges of logistics and maintenance when projecting power globally. It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Even the most sophisticated piece of kit needs a massive, reliable support system behind it to actually work effectively, especially far from home.
And this whole picture, it forces us to ask a really fundamental question, I think. In this current era, with geopolitical competition seemingly ramping up, how much is too much?
It's too much to pay.
Yeah, how much is too much to pay for these alliances, for this level of advanced military capability? And not just in, pounds or dollars, but in the unexpected complexities, the operational headaches, the sheer effort involved. What does this journey of the F-35, from the initial concept through all the investment and delays to these rather public unscheduled landings in Japan and India, what does that really tell us about the long-term sustainability of these high-tech alliances and these far-reaching military strategies? It's a tough question, and one that many nations with global ambitions are wrestling with right now.
A very potent thought to leave things on. And that brings our exploration for today to a close. Thank you so much for joining us and for your time and participation. We genuinely hope you gain some valuable insights into this really intricate world of global defense and cutting-edge military technology. If you found this discussion as interesting as we did, please do take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the Global WarWatch Network.
It really helps us out.
It does. And we always love hearing from you. Please share your thoughts, your questions, maybe your own theories down in the comments section below. And for more updates, maybe some behind-the-scenes bits, join us on social media. All the links you need are right there in the description. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and definitely keep asking those big questions.